So in a previous video, which I will leave linked in the eye above, I went for a transfer strategy including signing Rayan Cherki, as well as other players, so if you are wondering why players like Cunha and Gyökeres are on the tactics board, that's why. If Cunha goes somewhere in the last few days of the window, then I'll make a video on an alternative, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell for that. But this video is specifically about how I think Ruben Amorim could use Rayan Cherki in the 3-4-3 to open up deep defensive blocks, which is the main phase of play we struggle in at the moment. Now let me first say that Cherki isn't the type of player that's going to start every game, or even be used for a full 90 minutes, largely due to him being what you'd refer to as a luxury player, someone who you want conserving their energy rather than providing high intensity in the press and the defensive shape. Though saying that, Cherki's defensive contributions aren't actually as bad as you may think. Yes, they are low when compared to other attacking midfielders, but he ranks in the 80th percentile for the amount of dribblers he has challenged and the 49th for his interceptions, so he isn't a complete liability defensively, just someone who doesn't excel in high pressing situations. He isn't going to be like Messi, for example, towards the end of his career, where you take all the defensive responsibilities off him, but in certain games where Amorim wants his side to be consistently engaging the opposition high in their defensive third during the build-up phase and pressing aggressively, you'd rather have someone like Ahmad, Bruno or Mason Mount in that role. And so Cherki would suit games where Amorim wants his side to engage deeper on the pitch, allowing the opposition out of their defensive third. But in games where United are chasing a goal, or even dominating possession from the start, Cherki provides something incredibly unique, and not just to the United squad, but throughout world football as well. I mean, just look at his FB Ref report when it comes to his chance creation, and his ball progression metrics via his progressive passing, ball carrying and his dribbling. I mean, the stats pretty much speak for themselves. But the question is, tactically, how could Ruben Amorim go about getting the best out of Rayan Cherki? Well, before I move on to the tactics board, a quick reminder, I do have an in-game Instagram group chat where we do have analysis and discussions throughout all the Manchester United games. I am also writing a tactical ebook, so if you are in the Instagram group chat when that does come out, you will get it for free, which will work out a little bit cheaper than just buying the book outright. So in the type of games or situations in games where United are chasing a goal or dominating possession, most often United are going to be having possession in the middle third, looking to break down a deep and compact defensive unit, which most of the time in the Premier League anyway is going to be a 4-4-2. Now Cherki will take up a starting position as the right interior forward, and because in this type of situation we would be looking to break down a defensive shape, you are going to want to maximise creative output from the deeper and wider areas, which is why Ahmad would be the best option at right wing back, and rather than Ugarte and Mainu in central midfield, you'd probably want Reinders and Bruno Fernandes in the double pivot, unless of course there was a tactical reason as to why you may need Ugarte, for example if the opposition had a significant threat after turnovers, when it came to transitioning the attack quickly through the centre of the pitch, but most of the time you'd want Reinders and Bruno Fernandes in the double pivot. Now the back three would be dependent a lot more on different factors, but usually when we are on the offensive, you'd want Maguire as the central centre back, as he is a superior incisive and long passer compared with De Ligt, and overall is going to provide better ball progression and creativity from that area. Now when Maguire shifts the ball from the centre over to the right sided centre back, De Ligt in this example, usually the opposition's left sided midfielder in the midfield four is going to try to cut the passing lane in behind into the half space where Cherki is located, and so he's going to be holding a narrow position. But this is why I really like Amorim's use of the wing backs in possession in the 3-4-3, as rather than instructing the wide players to continuously hold high positions in order to pin the opposition's fullbacks backwards, Amorim instead instructs these wing backs to drop deep along the flank when necessary, which is very effective against a midfield four, as if the left-sided midfielder holds that narrow position to stop the passing lane opening up from De Ligt into Cherki in that right-sided half space. Because Ahmad is dropping deep, the opposition's left back isn't going to be in a position to follow him when De Ligt has possession, which is then going to open up the passing lane straight out to Ahmad. Now De Ligt in this situation shouldn't immediately be looking to play the pass out wide to Ahmad as soon as he receives it, but instead he should be looking to move forward with the ball into the space available, enticing the opposition's left-sided midfielder to push out and engage him, so that when the pass does go out to Ahmad, Ahmad now has more time and space to receive the ball and drive forward into. with the opposition's left-sided midfielder being closer to De Ligt when the pass is played. Now from here, the opposition's left-back can either push out quickly to close down Ahmad and vacate the space in behind, or leave Ahmad with the space and hold his position. If he holds his position, now Ahmad has the space to utilise his pace and ball carrying ability by driving the ball up the flank, looking to get goal side of the opposition's midfield line and progress the ball into the opposition's half, or ideally into the final third, and create a 2v1 against the left back, before the left-sided midfielder or the left-sided central midfielder can get across into the wide area. And from here, Cherki can do one of two things. Either he can look to pull wide and arc a run around Ahmad, providing an overlap, which would be very effective with a left footer like Ahmad playing as a right wing back, as naturally he's going to want to cut in field, and so Cherki's overlap will force the left back to either drop to track Cherki's run, vacating the space on his inside for Ahmad to cut into, or he can hold his position to stop Ahmad from cutting in field, but will then have to vacate the space in behind, down the outside for Cherki to overlap into, receiving a pass down the line from Ahmad, and now United can get in behind the back line, down the opposition's left side, United's right, where from Cherki is two-footed enough to be very effective from these wide positions on either flank. Alternatively, rather than providing an overlapping run, Cherki can instead hold a central position in the half space, on the inside of the fullback, where from Ahmad can now drive at the left back, enticing him to engage so that he can then play the pass infield, and Cherki will then have the space to receive the ball on his back foot facing forward, able to drive at the left-sided centre-back, before looking to find a through ball either for Gyökeres arcing his run to move in behind the left-sided centre-back, or to find Ahmad's run in behind down the outside of the left-back to complete the 1-2. And once again, United would be getting in behind the opposition's back line, with either Ahmad or Gyökeres with Cherki as a supplier. Now if the opposition's left-sided midfielder looks to shift wider to stop the pass going from De Ligt to Ahmad, then this in turn opens up the passing lane into Cherki in the half space, and Cherki's ball control awareness and fluidity in his movement is so good, even in congested areas, with the left back pushing out onto his back, that he has the ability to receive possession and still be able to turn away from the pressure and drive forward, looking to then thread the through ball in behind or link the play with a pass inside, which no other Manchester United player currently can do to the same level. But if the left-sided midfielder instead retains that narrow position, which they are going to do the majority of the time, and the pass goes out to Ahmad, but this time the opposition's left back is quick to jump out of the back line and engage Ahmad higher up the pitch, looking to stop him carrying the ball forward, then this opens up the space in behind, down United's right-sided channel. Now depending on the player playing ahead of Ahmad as the right-sided interior forward, they can look to make a run into the channel and receive the ball down the line. But because Cherki is more of an enganche trequartista type of player, rather than having him being the player to make the run into the channel, I would have him hold a position in the half space, which would pose a positional dilemma for the opposition's left-sided centre-back. See, most of the time the opposition is not going to want to give Cherki the space to turn unchallenged with the ball, and because he is positioned between the lines in behind the midfield, one of the opposition's back four is going to have to step out onto him, but this is where we see the benefit of using a front five against the back four, as when this happens, both the opposition's left back and left-sided centre-back have been forced to push high and vacate the space in behind, and with a centre-forward like Victor Gyökeres, who specialises not only in running into the channels due to his pace, but also being one of the best ball carrying and dribbling forwards in Europe, as seen by his FB Ref Report metrics, he has the capabilities of spinning and running into the channel and being a serious threat when in this position, allowing Ahmad to then feed the pass down the line, enabling United to once again progress the ball in behind the back line, from where Gyökeres is going to be far better in this sort of situation than either Højlund or Xerxes at driving forward and getting into a dangerous position in the final third. But if the opposition's left-sided centre-back looks to stop this from happening and holds a position in the back line, now because the opposition's midfield double pivot has been drawn high onto United's double pivot, whose narrow and deep positions close together works to maximise the space between the lines, now with no one on his back, Cherki can turn into the half space area, receiving the pass infield from Ahmad, who on his left foot is angled perfectly to find Cherki in this area, allowing him to now turn and drive forward. Gyökeres can arc his run around the outside of the left-sided centre-back, and Cunha from the left can make a bursting run between the right back and right-sided centre-back, providing the movement in behind the back line for Cherki to find. Now of course, this is just one particular game model focused on Cherki's link play with Ahmad down the right side, and how against a 4-4-2 shape, United can open up that space for Cherki to be the playmaker of United's attack, simply through United's right-sided centre-back and midfield double pivot, drawing the midfield high to then allow Cherki, Ahmad and Gyökeres to create an overload on the right side against the opposition's left back and left-sided centre-back. I have got a second part to this Cherki tactical analysis, specifically looking at how Amorim could incorporate a relationist strategy using Cherki as a modern day Aganche, which would be more useful against deeper defensive units who are going to drop back into their defensive third, which is usually going to happen when United are chasing a goal. So make sure you subscribe to the channel for that. But in general, I think at least having a creative wildcard like Rayan Cherki on the bench to come on when United are struggling to break down a compact defensive unit is going to be a massive net positive throughout the course of a full season, because throughout Amorim's tenure so far, that is a specific phase of play that we have seen United struggle in most. So thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Rayan Cherki in the comment section below, and if you want to sign up to the in-game Instagram group chat, I'll leave my Patreon linked on the end screen now.